Good morning. Well, despite how it looks, it's a bitterly cold morning, but I'm up on the middle lake here and I am looking at trimming back some of the overhanging trees. So we've got a large tree over there and a large tree down there. Those are on my list to do, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get around to them today. But my aim is to get these two done. So this one here is quite a small one. That's quite an easy one to deal with. So with the trees, the owner likes having some trees around the lakes. Now obviously you don't want too many of them because you don't want the leaves falling in the lake. It causes problems with the water. The other thing is, some fishermen like having trees because the fish tend to hide underneath them. Other fishermen don't like having trees because they get tangled in them. So it's trying to find a balance here. So I'm going to be trimming some of the branches off this side of this one because, as you can see, we've got a platform here and it's encroaching quite a long way across the platform. So some of that's got to go. Also, some of this has got to go. I'll talk more about that in a moment. But again, we've got this platform just over here. And again, there's not a lot to take off. We've got this branch here and those branches over there, and you can see with this one it's actually got fishing line tangled in it because somebody got caught up. So that's the idea, just take some of those off, open it up, make it a little easier for the fishermen. So I'll get this tree sorted because that should be nice and quick, and then I'll discuss the other tree before I start cutting in so you know what I'm actually doing. Okay, well I think that's enough off this side. Obviously I don't want to take too much off because I'm going to be taking quite a bit out of that tree. But there is still a couple more branches I want to take out here. So one is this branch that comes down here. Now I don't know if you can see on this bottom half here, the bark kind of changes colour. I think there's something wrong with it. I think that branch is dying. So I'm going to take that one right out to the base. Now that might be good for the tree anyway because it will allow more light in. And by cutting a branch right down to the base, it will encourage new sprouts out from the base of it. So that's that one. The other one is this ash tree here. Now I do like the ash trees. Problem is this one at the front there has got ash dieback, and that's just going to carry on going down straight into the roots and kill that tree. The other bit, it looks a little bit iffy up the top as well. So I'm thinking I might as well just take the whole thing down, do it while it's a lot easier to access it, and that should open this view up a bit more as well, so the fishermen should be happy. Okay, well that's this tree done, and that was the easy warm-up exercise for me for today, because this is a real challenge for today, and yeah, there's a lot to come out of this. So looking at this tree from here, you can see it is just one willow tree, but it almost looks like two, because you've got a lot of vertical, quite bright green bits there, that's all new growth, and then you have the older stuff that leans out over the water, and that's got kind of a dullness to it. Problem is, all the stuff that's over the water, there's a lot of dead in there, so I think there's something wrong with that. So a lot of that's going to go, and then once you take out the dead stuff, you've got to see what's left. That might need extra support, so you might end up taking that out as well, because otherwise it'll just snap. So there's a lot of that to go. But the other thing is, even in this section here that seems relatively healthy, there's a lot to come out. So you've got branches like this where the squirrel's taken all the bark off of it, so that's created a weak point there, so that branch has got to come out. Again, there's another one round there. We've got a few crossing branches where the bark's getting damaged, but also if you come around here you can see there's blue fishing line tangled in it because the fishermen have been getting caught in it as well. So I need to open this view up here so they aren't getting caught in this. So it's going to be a challenge. It's just going to be a case of working and see what's left at the end of it. I'm going to try and make it look good, but there's a lot to come out. So yeah, let's start cutting. Well, this tree really isn't going easily. Because of the size branches I'm trying to cut, the battery's going flat on my electric chainsaw quicker than I can charge them, because they are on the upper limit of what I'm able to cut with it. So I've tried using the pole saw, but the angles I'm working at, I just can't get the pole saw in and actually use it. So I think I'm going to have to resort to the chainsaw, which I wasn't looking forward to doing. But I'm thinking I can try and get these two cut off of this side, and then that big one that's dead in the middle there, cut and taken out, and hopefully that should get me somewhere. I am really beginning to dislike this tree. So the branch moved, it pinched the chain and the bar, and now I can't get them out. Right, well, I've got the spare chain. I'm not sure how sharp it is, but I'm thinking I'm going to cut above that because it splits into two. I'll try and cut those two bits off, see if I can loosen it and get the chain out. If I can't get the chain out, then I cut it below and take the log out with the chain in it. If the worst comes to worst, the log falls in the water with the chain and I lose the chain. It's a chain. I'm not too worried about that. So yeah, let's carry on and hope we can get this out. So I didn't forget, I managed to retrieve the chain out of the water. I'm going to soak that in some WD-40 so it doesn't go rusty, but that should be absolutely fine to go straight back on the chainsaw. So yeah, I think I'm going to leave the tree at this. I've cut quite a bit out of it. Now obviously I'd like to go further, but the owner doesn't like me cutting too much out. So I think I've hit a good compromise here. I've taken out a lot of the weight, I've opened it up on the platforms a lot more. But obviously the tree's still there, it's quite a substantial tree, so the owner should be happy as well. Now obviously some fishermen might complain because there's still the odd branch that overhangs the platform here, but we've got various other platforms around the lake where there's no trees whatsoever, so it gives a choice. If you want to sit under the shade of a tree and fish, you've got a tree here, you can sit under the shade of that. If not, then you can use the other platforms. But we've got a nice wide field of view here, so shouldn't get tangled on this one. And then this platform over here, obviously this is between two trees, so your field of view is more straight on. But again, it's a nice wide field of view there, and you haven't got any of the dead stuff here, so that looks a lot better. So all I've got to do now is get rid of this lot. So I'm going to go and get the shredder and start with that stuff. Well, that's tidied that up nicely. So I've taken a big pile of branches from there and turned it into a small pile of wood chip and a small pile of logs. Now the wood chip I can just leave to rot down where it is, because that section was quite muddy, so it should help improve the soil. And the logs there, I'll use those for firewood, but for now they're stacked nice and neat off the side of the path, so I can just leave them where they are. Now coming up in the future, I will be dealing with this tree, because obviously that's got a bit wayward, and we've still got the 2 trees at the end of the lake there. I'm not feeling up to doing it today, so they'll be coming up in the future. But for now, I'm going to go and sit down and enjoy this sunshine and listen to the sound of the birds around the lake, because it is lovely out here at the moment. And I shall see you later.